Holy crap. Sorry. I don't know if anybody watched that last video. Uh, I went back and rewatched it, and for some reason I started talking like I was trying to hide something. I apologize. Not that anybody's watching, but if you were watching, I apologize that you couldn't hear a damn thing I was saying. Majority of the idea was I was complaining about um, Mandalorian just shoehorning itself in to introduce force healing so that it can be done in Star Wars Episode 9. Um, it's also talking a lot about how I love the Phantom Menace, especially Gary at Nerdrotic and Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers. No, sorry, Geeks Plus Gamers. Said that wrong. Uh, All Hail Overlord DVD. Probably the greatest YouTuber out there right now. Um, and yeah, so I'm a big fan of Menace guy, and I was trying to get my review of the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, but when I went back and looked at the video, it was clear that I was talking so quietly that you wouldn't be able to understand a damn word I was saying unless you really fucking cared. And you probably don't because you don't know who I am. But what I will say is the episode was great. I really liked it. I like they brought back Cara Dune. I like her, and it's always good to look at Gina Carano. But I was really pissed at the whole idea that this whole story, as I see it, is just a reason for um, Disney Star Wars to introduce um, force healing. And that's the idea of this episode because and if you're watching this video, which you're not, but you better have watched the episode before you watch my critique. But if you haven't, spoilers, the whole idea is to introduce force healing because Baby Yoda heals one of the characters through the force. It's just in my opinion, it makes the whole frickin' story of um, the Mandalorian series moot, or as Joey Tribbiani would say, moo. But either way, it just points out that even though they were given the rights to create this original story, they still had to come out and say, oh, by the way, you have to introduce force healing so we can introduce it into episode 9, the Ruse of Soy Walker, as DVD says. So we need you to point out that force healing is a thing because we're gonna make it a thing in the Ruse of Soy Walker episode 9 bullshit Disney Star Wars. So I'm gonna go back and watch this recording after the fact. I don't know if anybody's ever watching these things, but if I go back after the fact and it still loses volume like it did in my last video, I might have to give up for a while. Um, I'm gonna get a microphone soon. Don't know if anybody's ever gonna watch, but if things keep happening like this, I'm gonna have to get myself a microphone so that I don't run into that again. I had a whole nice 16-minute video talking about how angry I was at this last episode of The Mandalorian. While it was good, and it was good, um, all it does is just set up the Royce of Soy Walker, the Rise of Skywalker. all it does is introduce the idea that force healing has been around forever, or at least for the last 30 years, because the Yoda species can do so. It's just it ruins the whole show. It makes the show pointless, other than to build up the idea of that if you are strong with the Force, you can heal people. Well, great. But now all of a sudden, Ray Nobody and Ben Swallow, or anyway, they're all of a sudden they're going to be able to use force healing because it's good for the story, but we couldn't introduce it in the story without making Baby Yoda a force healer. So great. Sorry. Sorry for my pause, but I'm just very angry. But don't know if anybody's ever gonna watch this video, but I'm super angry with this episode. It was good as far as action, writing, directing. Nick Nolte's all awesome as always. Um, I really like Pedro Pascal. Uh, he really does a good conveyance of um, character without actually showing his face, kind of like the original actor that played Boba Fett. I don't remember his name, but he did a great job of just portraying this creepy guy without actually showing his face. I think Pedro is doing a great job, but everything went to crap when I found out this whole series was just a reason to introduce force healing, and that sucks, and I'm upset. But I'll upload this, and hopefully somebody watches it, and I'll end with the mantra: um, Hail the Phantom Menace, Hail Gary, Hail Jeremy, Hail Victor Van Doomcock, and without respect, we reject.